So, it was a Thursday, November the 15th, 2018. And I know this not just because I looked it up on my calendar on my iPhone, but because I recall that I was hosting an event in our community. And it wasn't just any event, it was an event for women in our community, and this was going to be our very first holiday party. And so I was really excited. I spent a lot of time preparing for the party, planning, ordering food, decorations, and of course, cake. And it wasn't even just ordinary cake. It was a specially ordered cake that was a Wonder Woman cake dressed in Santa attire. And her lasso was the reindeer strap, okay? So this was a really great cake. And so I was really excited, even though the day before we had had a winter warning effect. And I wasn't really too concerned about that because it was the event, and so I rebuked that in the name of the Lord, that would not So again, this was Thursday, so I still had to get up and go to work, and at that time, I was actually teaching, and I had 3 courses on that Thursday, and they were almost back to back, and so it was about the second course that my students, and so the area where I taught at, the room I taught at, 2 of the walls were from ceiling to floor windows, and so, I saw the students starting to get antsy, and everyone's looking out the window, and I was like, no, it's okay. Because this particular event was going to be hosted at a local library. And so if the school's closed, the library closed. So I was like, no, it's okay. Don't look out the window. We're good. And so normally I would have welcomed a school closing if it was inclement weather. And honestly, I would have welcomed it if it was like really sunny weather too. And in fact, I just would have welcomed it. But I didn't want it today. And so I was like, no, it's okay. If the school closes, we'll get an announcement. You're good. And so got through that class. And then it was the next class. I just started, and one of my students, who shouldn't have had her cell phone anyway, so I kind of blame her, shouted out, oh, the college just closed, and they were closing at 1. And so there went my hopes and my dreams. But the class ended at 1, so I said, you're still stuck here. And so we went through the class, and so the students left, and normally, I don't like to drive in inclement weather because I don't drive well in the snow and I don't drive well in the rain. And if it's really sunny, it blinds me, so I don't even drive well in the sun. And then I'm geographically stupid too, right? So even though my car has a GPS, I really am not all about driving. But I went down slowly, defeatedly to my car, and it was, snow. And normally, any other time, I'd have been like, oh my God, it's a lot of snow. But this day, I was like, this really isn't even that bad. Why did they close the college? Why did they close the school system? So anyway, I got to my car, and I decided, because remember I had a Wonder Woman cake, and it was because we were extraordinary women and we were going to have this great event. I was like, I'm pretty extraordinary too, so I'm going to at least go pick up my damn cake. And if I'm going to be stuck in the house in the snow, I'm going to have some cake. And so normally it would have been a 10-minute ride from the college to where I call her the cake lady, who's amazing. Cindy, if you don't know her, check her out, to where Cindy lives. And so I was like, I can do this, because it really wasn't even that much snow and it wasn't that bad. So got in the car and proceeded to go to her house. And then about halfway there to her house, I realized that the normal 10-minute ride is really not the same when the snow's pouring down. And I also recalled at that moment that I didn't get new tires on my car because it was November the 15th, 2018. I was like, I got time. So anyway, about halfway there, I started slipping and sliding around. And by this point, my mom's calling me. It was like, where are you? What's going on? And I said, I'm going to get my cake. And she's like, why would you go and get your cake? It's snowing. Like, why would you do that? And she's like, you don't even drive well in the snow. And so anyway, I was like, I don't care. I'm extraordinary. Right? So I went on and proceeded to her house. So at this point, I did finally make it to her house about 45 minutes later, okay? Remember, it was 10 minutes away. So 45 minutes later, I made it to her house, and she lives kind of on like a slant of a hill. So I knew better to kind of try and turn into her driveway. I was like, I'm not getting caught there. I'm just gonna like park right here on the end of the hill. Went in, got my cake, and she's like, you really should stay. It's really bad out there. And I was like, no, I got this. And I got Wonder Woman. And so now by that point, I wasn't even extraordinary anymore. I was like, I'm Wonder Woman. I got this. Okay. So then I went on, got in my car, and she, locked up and so forth. And I proceeded to kind of turn around, and I thought I was going to go up her hill. And I drive a Volkswagen. It's a pretty good car. It's a Volkswagen CC. And normally it would probably like kick that hill's butt, but I didn't get my tires changed. So I slid back down the hill. So I was like, okay, that's okay, because there are more than one way to get out of a community, right? We all know this. And so I was like, I'm just going to go the other way, because I had my cake and I was now Wonder Woman, so it was okay. And so I went around another way that didn't have a hill, but the problem was once I got around a couple of blocks, there was then another hill. And so I, gassed it this time. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I almost made it. It was like right there, but the car wouldn't go more. So it slid back down. It's like, okay, well, that's fine. So then I backed up even further away. And the snow's still coming down. And at this point, for some crazy reason, the mailman actually was out still delivering mail. So I didn't feel too stupid. So, he's like, are you okay, ma'am? And I was like, yeah, no, I got this. I got a Volkswagen and I'm like Wonder Woman. And so I just backed up further and then gassed it even more. And I was like, okay, I can do this and I can get up the hill. And so I almost made it again, but then it didn't work out. And so I just slid back down. So I did that about like 10 times because the first two didn't really count clearly. And so I finally decided like, okay, this is okay. I can wait out the snow because I did have cake, so I knew I wasn't going to starve. So I pulled over to the side of the road and I proceeded to just kind of wait out the storm, which made no sense since it was in effect for the entire day. And it was like actually it was about 2:30 by this point. So I sat there and I am Wonder Woman, but I'm a woman and I'm kind of paranoid. So I was like, oh my God, if I knock on someone's door, like what if they kidnap me, or do something horrible to me and then no one would know. So I did make a phone call. I was like, okay, I'm going to try this person's house. And like, this is sort of kind of where I'm at because I'm geographically stupid. So I really didn't know where I was. I was like, but this is how the house looks. It's like the brown one with like the roof that looks like a roof. And so anyway, hopefully someone would have found me, but I'm not quite sure. So anyway, so I knock on the people's door and an older woman, and this is gonna seem like it's a fairy tale, but it was like this like really like older woman that was like the grandma, like the epitome of like the grandma type. I mean, she was like, I think maybe they were like Irish or Italian, I'm not sure, and she was cooking. And so her whole family was in there because they knew better than me to go out in the snow. And she was actually making homemade soup. And so when she opened the door right away, she was like, oh, honey, get in here. It's snowing out there. And I was like, yeah, I didn't even notice. And so she welcomed me in and she was like, what are you doing out there? And I said, well, I was going to get a cake. And she was like, you got cake? And I was like, I do. I have cake. I said, it's a Wonder Woman cake. And I was Wonder Woman like 30 minutes ago, but now I'm just woman. And so anyway, she actually welcomed me into her house, and I spent the next couple of hours with her and her family eating homemade soup and dessert and hearing all their stories about their family. And so fortunately, they did not leave me out in the cold.